Welcome to the Watering Hole podcast, hosted by Mark Dunwoody and myself. My name is Brian Russell. This is the place where seasoned coaches, as well as those individuals and organizations interested in coaching, come together to learn, grow, and exchange valuable insights.
Hi, I'm Mark Dunwoody. The Watering Hole is more than just a meeting spot. It's a place for ideas. It's a space for collaboration. It's a space for sharing diverse perspectives and building a thriving coaching community. Brian and I both believe in the power of shared spaces to drive innovation and nurture a strong coaching ethos.
Yeah, Mark and I have many years of experience coaching worldwide, and we have a vision for coaching to be integrated into all aspects of life. And it's on this podcast where we bring this vision to life, showcasing the real impact of these connections and the wisdom they generate. Join us as we dive into the conversations that are shaping the future of coaching. It's great to see you, Mark. Are we ready for another fun episode?
We are. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm excited about today, and I think we're going to talk about coaching relationships. Do you want to start us off and sort of frame out what we're talking about when we say understanding the coaching relationship?
Yeah, I mean, at the heart of coaching is human relationships, is people coming together. And I think one of the biggest challenge for contemporary leaders now is loneliness that can come from leadership in whatever sphere of leadership you're in. And healthy leaders know they can't go alone. Something just happens when you have somebody with you. Every good leader needs a coach, needs a mentor or a spiritual director, and that's why coaching is so important. Because leadership is hard, and we shouldn't do it alone. We need someone there to coach us, and we need to be coaching someone else to help us grow. And when we speak of coaching as a relationship, its most basic essence is a formal relationship for leaders. And I think sometimes the problem might be that some people think coaching is simply one more task, like checking an item off in the to-do list. But that really isn't coaching at all. Coaching for me is an intimate uh, relationship. It's like a conversation between two friends, you know. And when you end up coaching with people, you really do end up in a place where there's love, there's care, there's sincerity, and it's far from dry or stuffy. It's actually warm and intimate. So for me, I think of coaching as a relationship rather than a business transaction. And it's a relationship that's built on trust, mutual respect. So a coaching relationship, when we come to it, it's very important. And I'd love to ask you the same question, but for me, it's so important that you click with the person. I don't know about you, Brian, but I've actually said no to people that we haven't clicked with, or organizations that I know I don't think we have the same values. How do you make like how do you make that discernment about yourself and the coaching relationship and the people you work with?
No, yeah, it's super important. And I want to echo a couple of the things. When I think about coach, and a couple of metaphors that I'll throw out there is I think a coach can be an ally to a person. Maybe you even think of it as a non-equity partner in the person's could be their ministry, their business, whatever area of life that they want coaching in. So it lets us come in and we're invested without actually being an equity partner. So we're not taking over the person's whatever they're getting coached on, but we're there as if we were just as fully invested in as a result as they are. Yeah, and I think it's critical that it needs to be a good fit for both the client and the coach. And that's why I think it's so important to have a full coaching session at the beginning of the relationship just to see if it's going to fit. Now, I think there's coaches can find themselves in two places when we talk about is it a good fit? Because like when you're just getting started coaching, especially if you're trying to earn some income off of this, when you don't have clients, sometimes it's the temptation is just to take anybody that wants to be coached, and I think we've all been there. And But as you gain some experience, you realize, you know what, I'm just not a good fit for every single person. And even if the other person might think they're a good fit for me, if I don't feel like I can be all in,
Yeah.
I've learned to say no to those opportunities. And I've noticed that the places where I think I feel like I need to say no, often the person that I'm feeling that way about, maybe they pick it up subtly or whatever. I haven't had to turn too many people down. It's usually been, I don't think I really want to work with this person. And apparently the other person picked up the same vibe and we usually don't go forward. But I think it's super important for coaches to remember that we don't sell coaching. What
Yeah.
we're offering is transformation, and it's kind of a mutual thing. And so I think it's important for a coach to have confidence that they're not really the one selling pieces. The other person is actually selling, hey, and so I'm asking myself, do I want to buy what this other person wants me to coach them about, if that makes any sense? So it's that idea that I don't want to be in a place where I'm begging someone to work for me. I want to be so on fire that it's like, I want to be the one, like, I want this person, I want to coach this person. So that's a couple ideas about that, but I think it's just super important
Yeah.
if you want to serve somebody, which is what coaching is about, that you have to be all in, or
Yeah.
it should be a no.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you say that, it makes me think of something as well. I think in the coaching relationship, um, as a coach, you do have to be aware that you're there to elevate the other person. I think about this a lot. I've just this week, I've had some really significant breakthroughs in people's lives that I coach that no one knows about me. So I think one thing that of being a coach is that you are working behind the scenes with people, with organizations, with groups, whatever. And you're going to get very little glory from it, if that makes sense. So your relationship has to be more than about yourself. Your relationship has to be more about elevating other people and being really focused on other people succeeding. And I think for that, then, for your own self-worth and self-esteem, you sort of do need a good grounding in who you are as a person as well. Um, and I love, like, I just love the idea of a relationship of someone coming alongside other people and helping them along. I know you are as well, a great fan of the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell stuff. And Joseph Campbell made famous the hero's journey's myth, which is used in many movies of a hero sets out on an adventure. And through the hero's journey, we're reminded that life is a journey and an adventure where we don't always know what the road has ahead of us. So even in a 1 hour coaching session, if you start a 1 hour coaching session with someone, you probably don't know where you're going to end up at. Actually, I don't know about you, but I never know where I'm going to end up at. I never know the new insights. All I know is that something will be different. So to set on that journey with someone over an hour or over 2 hours or a weekend or whatever, you do need a deep level of relationship. You just do. If you don't have that deep level of relationship, you probably won't go that far. Um, so again, I love the hero's journey, the Joseph Campbell stuff, because it's based on a common ancient narrative of story structure that is shared by cultures worldwide. And it always involves a hero who goes on an adventure, learns a lesson, wins a victory, and then returns home. And we can see this hero has always got someone beside them. They've always got a mentor, they've always got a coach that comes alongside them and helps them move on in their story, you know. And so for me, yeah, just that relationship with them, that person um, is such a privilege. It's such a privilege to do. But I do think from a coaching perspective, you do have to get yourself into a mindset that you are serving other people and you're elevating them. And does that make sense?
It does make sense. And that's what's fun about coaching because,
Yeah.
like for me, I'm an introvert. Again, I don't mind getting some attention, but I know as I've gotten older, I want less and less attention. And I know what really inspires me. This even comes into my work as a teacher. I love the people that I'm serving to see them do really well. It's been wonderful over the last, I've had some long-term coaching relationships with several pastors, and it's been fun to see multiple folks that I've coached actually get bigger leadership opportunities, get able
Mhm.
to write books, and it just brings me a huge amount of joy. And you know, and then one of the things that I like about the coaching relationship, and I think this is one of those places where we can really distinguish the difference between being a therapist and being a coach is, you know, I feel like as a coach, I can be interested and invested in the person's life, period. And I consider some of the people that I've coached to be my friends now, and probably lifelong friends if things go well. And as long as the one boundary that I think it's critical in the coaching relationship is I can't become such a friend that I become a people pleaser to my coaching client. But as long as I can keep that my role here is to push when necessary. I love the hero's journey part that, you know, maybe we're like a Gandalf or a Yoda or whatever, Obi-Wan Kenobi who nurtures and kind of goes along and helps the person grow into that heroic person, but ultimately sort of stays in the background. I mean, it's the relationships. It's fun and deeply rewarding.
Yeah. 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 And, I'm just reminded, I think I was telling you just before we came on air that, I've someone that I'm working with and I've been working with them, I think it's either 3 or 4 years. And next month is the last time we're due to meet. And we're at a stage where it was actually me that said to them, I think we might be finished, you know. And they were like, yeah, I think that as well. I get that feeling. So I think in terms of a coaching relationship, it's a bit like I have 3 boys, and I always said I wasn't th rearing 3 children. I was rearing 3 men. So I
It's
think a
good.
coach, same with the coach. I think you're really starting, whether it's a 5 minute conversation or a 5 year relationship, you're helping people to fly by themselves. You're getting in a place where they're going to take off. And they might be with you for 5 or 10 years. And I hear as well what you say about the friendship. I'm I'm always friends with everybody I coach. We've got the watering hole group that comes together every month. It's all friends, and there's people in that group that we've both coached. So yeah, but there's definitely a part of the coaching relationship where you're also looking to the end of it, if that makes sense. You know, and you're always looking as well. Say you agree to work with someone for um an hour. At the end of that hour, and that's a one-off thing, you're only going to work with them for an hour. Is there some sort of pain? Is there some unfulfilled need that still exists that you can help them be driving forward in their lives? Um, and and it's good to ask yourself because the question may be no. That's maybe all I needed. That's all I needed off you, Brian or Mark. That's great. And it's the same after 1 year, 4 or 5 years. So with this particularly um, person I talked about, there's not an unmet need there that I think I can fulfill in their lives now. So it's really a good thing, and it's for me, it gives me loads of satisfaction, because I realize, whoa, I've been able to help these people move forward in their lives. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and you know that's what coaching is about. People that we coach ought to be getting results, and because
Yeah,
to me,
yeah,
the coaching relationship is me being unconditionally for the person that I'm coaching for their future.
yeah,
Right? We're not trying to get them to deal with the past, or we try to get them grounded in the present, obviously, but it's all about helping that person create a future. And if
yeah,
they hit all the targets they're looking for, I think at that point it's kind of like the mic drop time. It's like it doesn't mean we don't ever talk. It doesn't mean that the coaching's done maybe forever, but for the season, if the people get the result that they wanted, we can
yeah,
step back and feel like, job well done, hooray, and really go, yeah,
yeah,
just cheer for the person. Yeah.
yeah. I love what you said because it makes me think of something as well. If you can help people get the job done, they're going to be your biggest cheerleaders. Because I don't know about you, but I still have people I used to coach who recommend me to other people in different parts of the world. So they're always going to be your cheerleaders. And I think as well, especially if you're doing it, say, from a business perspective, your coaching's your income, which is for you and I. Uh, you want to make sure that when you finish the relationship, that you're on a high, that you're doing well, that you just didn't go, well, let's do another 6 months because I need the money and I'll keep them hanging on. Because then that them as picturing as a hero, they won't be at that pinnacle, at that place where they were. So again, I think it's being smart in terms of looking forward and longevity for your coaching business to make sure when you're finishing up with people that you're finishing in a pinnacle, finishing in a high.
Yeah, and you know that one of my favorite coaches that I've learned a lot from is a guy named Dan Sullivan,
Hmm.
and he's really good about talking about what it takes to actually have a successful any kind of business, but for coaching. And if you focus on cash, money, um, you actually send out the wrong vibes to other people. And he even jokes that the worst way to sell anything is to have commission breath, like, oh, I have to have this person sign back up.
Yeah.
Instead, what he always says to focus on, and it's a play on words. He talks about cash, but he spells it KASH. And then he uses as an acronym, which I found this really helpful. And I can actually say, I essentially built my entire coaching business for the most part, or 95% of my coaching business off of this cash concept. It's that what I do is I work on knowledge, attitudes, skills, and habits. And if I continue to grow myself and then I help the people that I serve gain a picture of the future that they can have, and then I can come alongside, just like on that hero's journey,
Yeah.
help them build the cash that they need. I don't have to worry about getting paid once in a while because when you help other people get what they want, I've noticed that it's not, you don't have to worry about having clients, and you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about cash flow at that point. And again, I'm not talking about some kind of magic thing. I don't think either of us are getting super wealthy coaching, but if you serve people and you
Yeah.
help a person get the future that they want, that's
Yeah.
the best way to guarantee income if that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And that's such a different way of thinking, isn't it? It's an abundance way of thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's an abundance mindset, and that's the game changer for if you can keep an abundance mindset. And what's the opposite? Lay out like what do you think about like what would be the traps that you've maybe fallen in? I think we've all fallen into like I got to grasp, but like what's abundance mindset mean to you as a coach, and how does that affect your relationship with your
And
clients?
I think, you really help with the I hadn't remembered about cash. I know I remember now. But if you're growing your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, your habits, um, you're growing in abundance and people's
Yeah,
going to know that. And the consequence of that will be great. And any type of empire building, you can see it's always about scarcity. And it's about mutual scarcity. We can see it in the Bible with Israel, or sorry, the Egyptians. The Egyptians they wanted more of a kingdom and it was scarce, and the Israelites, wanted to be safe, and it was all about scarcity. And living into the abundance of yourself. I just wonder how, like, it's hard to model something to other people and help people move to a place of abundance if you're not already living out of that.
so good.
I think if you have to be living out of abundance, um, and it just the abundance works as well. Actually, it's weird, it's freaky, but it works. If you're listening to this now and you do the hard work of writing books and publishing books, which you've done, Brian, and I've done, and there's nothing sexy about doing that. It's sitting in front of your computer for hundreds of hours, deleting words.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
if you're, if you take the time to do this, do a podcast, if you take the time just to make sure that you're communicating and making visible your knowledge and your passion and your attitude and your skills and your habits around coaching, watch how your life changes. So I've just, we're both so blessed. Like this year, I am using my coaching skills in so many different ways. I'm actually teaching a doctoral program on coaching in complex organizations. So I'm going to be coaching some real top level thinkers around introducing coaching into their organizations. So for me to help people um, gain a mindset around coaching that will actually then impact their workers and everybody else in their organization who will never meet me, I just think it's amazing. So I think there definitely is something. And again, I'll say it, and I always say it, we're going to die someday. We're only here once. We're here in this world for such a short period of time, a blink of history. So why not work from a place of abundance? Why not work from a place of wake up in the morning, you're breathing. You've got the breath of the Lord in you. Like you woke up breathing. Like so many people didn't even wake up breathing today. So what you go do about it? You know? Um, and I think just if we can if we can do that with ourselves, then we will have an impact on the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's so good. I'll just add one thing, and I'm sensing that we may be coming up to the end of this episode. I'm hearing with part of the foundational for this abundance mindset. If you're wondering by listening, how do you get this? I think it's implicit in what Mark said. It's he didn't say the word, but it's embracing gratitude for what is, even the very fact that we're alive today. And then it's real simple after that. Whatever your gifts are, and everybody has gifts,
Mm.
um, put them out there and serve and bless somebody that's in your proximity. If you're a writer, write. If you're doing a podcast, do the podcast. And trust by putting the stuff out there, you may not get 1,000 listens, may not even get 100 listens, but trust that the people or the person, it only takes one person for life to change and for a coaching relationship to get started. You simply have to have the right person listen to your stuff. And if nobody else even listens to it, if you get the right person, your life can begin to change. So as part of this is, gratitude, bless the folks that are in front of us, and have the courage then to actually share your gifts with the world. And then slowly but surely, I think the right people, if you're meant to work, that are meant to work with you, um, materialize over time. Again, everybody looks like an overnight success, but a great coaching business isn't built overnight. I mean, Mark, how long have you been? When did you get your first paid client? And how long has it been for you?
A lot of years, quite a few years. Um, yeah. And I've changed as well. I've changed in my coaching as well. Um, but yeah, it always takes longer. And as well, just drip feeding, as you said, where it's podcasts, where it's a book, whether you're a TikToker, whether you're going on Instagram, whatever you're going to do, um, know that that can bear fruit, because people still contact me with things that I done maybe 5, 6 years ago. It's really weird. Someone texted me this week to say, "Hey, listen to your podcast. I love that. You were saying this and it's really helped me in something I'm going through at the minute." And I was like, I wonder what podcast was.
No, exactly.
It was actually one 4 years ago. It's 4 years ago. Like, because just what you said, like, so it takes time. Everything takes time. This idea of a fast fix world, it doesn't work. It does not work. Like everything takes time. Everything takes time.
Or at
So
least everything that's real and substantive and will be evergreen takes time. You can do flash in the pan, sort of scammy stuff and get some leverage sometimes, but if the great work takes time.
yeah. But just to maybe to look at wrapping this up
Yeah,
to bring the key point that you brought about cash, Kash, to grow in your knowledge of coaching, to grow in your attitude of coaching, to grow in your skill set of coaching, and to grow in your habits of coaching, that's not going to cost you a dime.
that's right.
That's a mindset. That's where you can start and you can keep doing that. And if you do that over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, something will happen. People will start to notice you. And I love that because again, we've said at the very start, coaching is a relationship, it's a human relationship. So if you grow in those things, people will notice something about you that will draw them towards you in a relationship for you to speak into their lives from a coaching perspective.
I love it. And everybody that's listening, check out the show notes. We'd love for you, if you find this episode helpful, to like it, share it, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Mark and I will be putting out consistent content here in 2025. And we invite, if we can be of service, our contact information is also in the show notes. Till next time, thanks for listening to the Watering a Hole Coaching Podcast.
Good stuff. Take care. God bless everybody.